this and remember that. And in keeping with like the Cherokee tradition of verbal histories. And while everybody is here together, we just thought we would tell you, Art and Kit, what we do remember about life growing up with you guys. So I don't remember much about, and maybe we'll do it chronologically as in some fashion. But I don't remember much about Southern Illinois. I remember there was some crayons melted on the road, and I looked down at them, and they were just all these colors, and I didn't pick them up, I didn't do anything with them, but the earliest memory that I've ever been able to recall is those melted crayons on the side of a asphalt type grayish gravel road, or paved gravel road. And I don't know where that was. That was my first memory. And of the house itself, I just remember the brownishness of it, you know, and that it was kind of on a newer area. And I don't know what of that is from all the pictures we've seen over the years and actually being there. What do you think, Eric?
Well, as I was telling yesterday, some of the things I remember are there being a grass fire on the end of the road near our house. And people were putting it out with kind of little rubber mats on sticks that would put out the fire. And also, getting my cast off, going to the doctor's office to get my cast cut off when I was probably 3 or 4. And another one I wasn't telling before, it's not around here. I remember going to Florida, actually, when we were young, and there was like railroad ties in the parking lot, and then being in a hotel and eating eggs in the hotel one morning. And what else did I tell you yesterday? Oh, the copper pots. Being at a neighbor's house and seeing copper pots hung on the wall. And another one that came to my mind, not really Southern Illinois, but something that came to my mind when Chris was talking about telling stories, is when we moved to Michigan, when we drove up and got to Michigan and got to the house. We were going in the house, and I guess the door accidentally locked. So we were throwing rocks at the windows to get in the house when we got to the new house.
Dad was already there.
Dad was already there.
You told me that.
And it was the middle of the night, and we couldn't get in.
And that door's never been locked since.
Right. Right.
So then when we got to Michigan, I don't remember much about getting to the house or being at the house. I guess I remember kindergarten and having to walk to school for kindergarten and getting there sometimes before the school was open. I don't know how that happened as a 5-year-old kid. But then the lady who taught was across the gravel driveway, and she would come and unlock the door if she just saw us standing out there and the school empty and locked. And she'd let us in. And so I know that 3 of us were born here, then Joe, and then Doug was born in Douglas. I don't remember him being born, but I remember the diapers, because there was cloth diapers back then. And whatever they needed for diapers, we had cloth diapers and these big giant pins, and you fasten them up, and then when they were dirty, throw them in the washing machine.
Well, you scrape the poop out first, then you throw it in the washing machine.
So That's about the early time in Douglas. What about your memories of the early time in Douglas, Joe?
Well, let's see. There was always like bike riding around and friends nearby to bike with, and then also easy access to the baseball park, you know, and then we could always just walk there, so that was real handy.
And so just the 70s to kind of make it bigger, you know, that's when Doug was around. He could talk by then. So some of the things that happened in the 70s in no particular order was we had Thor. Remember having Thor?
Yeah,
Who's Thor?
What was that all about?
it's an exchange program. You got to come to America for a while.
So I remember Thor drank a lot of milk and that he wore the same pants all the time. Do you remember Thor, Doug?
Yeah, he did drink a lot of milk.
He always snipped his food.
And he always
before
snipped
it
his foods. So what's this?
And Mom would say, "Don't smell it, 'cause you eat it."
What is this?
Yeah. And then about the house, the big old house on Spring Street. It was white at the time. I remember Dad had his brown chair. In the beginning, it was brown, a really old brown chair in the corner there. So I don't know why, but we always wanted to sit in it. And then whenever Dad came, we had to get up and go somewhere else.
It would always be, I'll trade you spots. And it's like, you don't have a
You're
spot.
standing.
Wait a minute. So that was always the line. I'll trade you spots. All right. So.
And it was a big old house, and it was cold, so we'd have to sit by that little heater vent that was getting the warm air out in the living room there, because the rest of it was kind of cold. And I remember the basement being a pretty scary place, especially where the furnace was. And then the basement kind of evolved. We had the photo room in there where we all had to do photos from time and again. And then we had the scout room they built down there, which turned into Eric's band room and then Joe's band room.
Very handy for that.
And Mom being involved in scouts a lot, being the den leader, having like a little wooden thing down there with some awards attached to it.
Well, Claire was asking me just this morning, where did you learn how to braid? And I said, my mom taught me when we were Cub Scouts. Remember? Yeah.
But of course, the important part of the basement is the shop and all the tools and stuff and the big bench and all that go down there.
And the bookcases.
Bookcases.
Maybe bookcases were built down there. My stereo cabinet.
There's like lumber like up here and over there. It's just a very handy place to be.
Yeah.
So I remember about the house too, having the laundry, because there was the 4 kids in the back, and then there'd be like a stack of clothes for each of us on top of the dryer. So you'd have to go down and see if there's anything in your stack, and then pull your little stack off, and then the other ones would fall down, and you take the stack to your room.
How about the sock box too? The big box of generic socks is just like this big around.
Yeah, well then the socks, everyone remembers the little threads in the socks, right?
Yeah.
That was orange thread.
So the resourceful kit would sew a little piece of thread in the front of the sock, because we all had stylish black socks, dress socks. No matter what we were doing, we wore the dress socks. And so we got those, and everyone had their own threads to pick out whose was whose. And then skipping to where we went to Philadelphia, somehow we went to Philadelphia, and it was a trip about the Liberty Bell and everything. And then we got some good socks on that trip. And the whole way back, I would relentlessly pester Eric to trade me his good socks. for some of my bad socks. I'd be like, 2 for 1. And then by the end of it, I said, 10 for 1. And when we got home, I was like, 20 for 1. I'll give you 20 pairs of my socks for 1. And Eric would never trade me my first good socks.
I don't recall that.
Do you recall that, Eric?
Oh, no, honestly, I don't recall that. But I'm glad that I held out.
Right.
That was in 1976 when I went to Philadelphia because it was bicentennial, right? And then there was we went to see the Liberty Bell. The Liberty Bell wasn't in its usual place; it was in a different place, and everybody could file past it. And so we got to see the Liberty Bell. And remember, I gave it a smack, and the woman goes,
So
"Please do not smack the Liberty Bell." And so we said that for the next several days. Yeah.
Joe smacked it and the crack got bigger.
Oops.
So, go ahead, Dad.
What do you remember about driving from Douglas to Philadelphia?
I don't remember anything that stands out. What do you remember?
What I remember is that when we bought that van, it had seats and all on the inside, but it didn't have any fabric on the inside of the back part of the van. So we picked out some nice shaggy carpet, orange shaggy carpet, and glued it to the sides and to the top of the van in the back part like there.
Yeah.
And then we set off for Philadelphia. And not too long after we started, the shaggy carpet on the ceiling started to sag a little bit. And the thing that I remember about driving to Philadelphia is that one or two of you guys would always be back there lying on your backs on a seat with your feet holding the shaggy carpet up.
Remember falling down and it's like putting your fingers in a dam. Every time you put your hand up, it'll pop up.
Yeah, so we had the white van, no windows. Just a cargo van, wasn't it? Or did it have some windows?
It has always had windows.
We put shag carpet everywhere, including the ceiling. And then we had the brown station wagon. You guys remember the brown station wagon?
Came first.
The what one?
Station wagon all came first.
With a big door in the back that you go like whoop to get in. And then up to the Volare.
Well, you skipped the green van, but yes.
The green and cream van. Green van with
Larry
green
was a
stripe.
man. In every sense of the word.
That reminds me, when you look at that flatter and that one picture you look at, you're going to stare at it for many minutes and you can't figure out what it is. It's a van with the doors open and a bunch of newspapers in the back of the van. Alright? So that one picture that you have, what in the world is this? That's what that is. And you'll know what it is when you see it. You're probably thinking of it right now.
Yeah, we delivered papers in the station wagon, and sometimes we would just, we'd run up and then we just dive in the windows.
Oh
To
yeah.
make time, we just drop the papers and jump right through the window to get back in the car and go.
So every Wednesday, yeah, the child labor laws weren't as strictly enforced back then. So every Wednesday we had to deliver these papers all over the place, and
It took about 10 hours.
I remember it taking about 10 hours.
and sometimes we would, not all of us would go very often, sometimes 2, but whoever got assigned to do it, I'd do these resorter deliveries. And I remember tying the strings from the paper together into like 150-foot string,
Hanging out the back.
hanging out the back. So the car behind it would run it over and yank it, and it was stuck in the window. So of course the window would get jarred and wouldn't go up all the way anymore. But it's the cost of doing business.
And the one lady, the shipping shore, would give you a quarter.
Sometimes they give you a Coke.
A Coke or a quarter or something.
Yeah.
So that was-
Well, there were some deliveries that you could get candy that was just sitting there, and then there was other extra special ones like they're talking about.
Yeah.
And you weren't allowed to deliver papers till you were 3.
See?
Very lax.
And then picking up the papers, I remember that was older. I don't know what age to pick up the papers, but we have to get up really early to go to Paw Paw to get them. And it would be in the summertime when there wasn't any school. and we'd get up with Dad to go have them load in the van.